Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today I am visiting with a local author, a woman that has worn many hats, many careers, the one and only Laura Roper Lowe. Welcome, Laura.
Well, good morning.
I tell you, you are one busy girl. Time will not hold you down. You have had many careers, besides being a wife, a mom, just a businesswoman, a journalist, a counselor, a world traveler, a professional driver. I saw your LinkedIn. Where did you find the time to write 4 books? And now you're preparing to write that 5th one.
I'm writing it in my head. I need to get it on paper.
But you're getting the thoughts together.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so your first career, when I first met you, you were a realtor.
That's right.
You were a broker.
That's right.
And you were the first African American to be the president of the Muskogee Board of Realtors.
The Columbus Board of Realtors,
Okay.
which was 86 years at that time. 86,
Really? In 86 years?
86 years.
Right. And so you blazed the trail.
Well, they say I did.
Well, you did. And so that was a long time ago, because we were this young military couple. And of course, your real estate company, Lowe, sold us our very first home. And Tolly was an officer at Fort Benning, and the first house was that one on the corner of MacArthur and St. Mary's.
Oh, okay.
And how that happened was I was pregnant, and we were living on Fort Benning, and the computers controlled the air conditioning. And so during the day, which you were a very wonderful friend of my dad's, and he just simply adored you.
Oh, I loved him
and
too.
And so during the day, it would get so hot, I would leave Fort Benning and go to Daddy's house, because he was going to run the air conditioner, and lay on his bed with the air conditioner. And so one day, I just said, it's too hot. I'm pregnant. We got to buy a house. And so then I called Lowe Realty, and then we bought a house. And then when Tolly came in from Fort Benning that day, I said, you know what we did today? He said, what? I said, we bought a house.
All right.
I said, because the air conditioning, the computer controlled it for the housing. I said, we're in Georgia. I'm pregnant. I have to be cool. And so it was just wonderful experience. You all were, leading the way, very professional. Learned a lot.
Oh, I loved real estate,
Yeah.
and my next book will be devoted to the memory of T.M. Lowe.
Oh, wonderful.
Because when it comes to professional selling,
Yes.
I don't know anybody who is any better.
Well, I can say that. And a lot of the people
Yeah.
that's in the business now, he trained them.
Yes.
I know my family members, he did. A lot of people went through your family real estate company.
Your brother-in-law worked with us.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I remember when he
Yes.
did that. And so Mr. Lowe was great. He even taught me and my husband how to buy VA repos. People didn't know that. And so we could buy those and put them on HAP. And he wanted to always teach, because in his life
He was a
teacher.
He was a
By
teacher.
profession, and a lot of people didn't know that
Yes.
about him. But he was willing to share his knowledge. And so you moved from being in the real estate business, blazing the trail as the first African American and a woman, to counseling. Is that where you went next?
No, actually, I pretty much started my life all over again after I left my husband, and I did leave the business, but I pretty much started all over again, and I began doing temp work.
Really?
Yeah. I said, I used to work in an office. I think I can do that again as I restructure my life. And I worked with Manpower, and they sent me to some of the most wonderful places in Columbus to work. I worked for lawyers, I worked at the bank, and they sent me up to Callaway Chemical.
Is that how you got there?
Yes,
Okay.
and after I was there for a while, they hired me, and I worked there almost 5 years. I worked with the textile management team, with the guys who were doing the textile. And I learned how to do PowerPoint presentations, pretty much taught myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed working there. It was it was just another milestone.
Right, and something very different.
It was very different.
Right.
It was very different from
now,
real
that's
estate.
a real big change.
It was a
from
change.
Sales to corporate.
It was a change, and but I've always been determined to be independent.
Yes. We know that. People travel all over the world solo. We know that.
Even though I wasn't raised that way.
Right.
I was raised to want a husband and children.
And a traditional life.
That's right. I was raised that way. And born to old parents. My mother and father, had been married for 14 years before my mom could have a child.
Really? That's unusual for that era.
Yes. Yeah, Mama prayed for children.
Oh, okay.
She said she asked God to give her children.
Okay.
And he did. And I said 14 years, that was wrong. 17 years.
17?
17
and
years.
That's unusual still for that
in
era.
the 1940s. Yeah. That was very unusual.
Yes.
But I've come to be very philosophical about it. I don't think I was supposed to be born too soon.
No.
I think I was supposed to be born.
There's a time and a season.
Yes, I think I was, and my brother was born 16 months later.
Okay.
We were the only two children they had.
And so she asked for that and she received it.
She was a woman of great faith.
Right, and originally from Alabama.
Yes, from
the Greenville area.
And from the Greenville I say I'm from Greenville, but actually I was from North Butler County.
Okay.
And I was raised in the woods. I love the woods. I'd go back if I could in a minute. But the woods were my brother's and my playground. We played in the woods, and
you became one with nature.
That's right.
Yes.
And I still love the woods, and I will walk in the woods. I know I have some friends who are scared to death of the woods, but I'm saying I'd be scared to death of
of urban America.
Of some of our inner streets.
Exactly. It's a dangerous
because
place.
After all, the animals don't have guns.
Well, this is true. It's a safer place. Well, what we're going to do is go to our first break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Whole Patient Healthcare. Dr. Jada Rimes-Bacote is board certified in family medicine. She believes the best patient care includes practical, individualized lifestyle changes. Located at 1338 13th Avenue, Columbus, 706-641-2080, or visit wholepatienthealthcare.com. Progressive Funeral Home. Family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road. Trusted by generations. The Framing Factory and Art Gallery for professional framing and decorative art, located in Lake Bottom, 1325 17th Street, or call 706-324-3823.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I am truly enjoying this amazing conversation with the one and only Laura Roper Lowe, a woman that has traveled the world even solo as a mature girl. No fear, Laura. I should get you a t-shirt that says that. No fear. No, because you professionally drove all over the country and you were documented on social media.
Oh, yes.
And you would get on and come back to Columbus and then take another professional trip. But before you got to that stage as a mature girl, you went on from Callaway Chemical to become a professional counselor.
Well, no, I didn't. I worked at the River Center for the Performing Arts.
Did you?
Yes.
You just kept changing all the hats, but you were working your way somewhere.
That's right. See, at Callaway Chemical, and I don't mind people knowing this. I actually got fired, and I tell people sometimes what we think is a bad thing is the best blessing. Had I not gotten fired from Callaway Chemical, it had become Vulcan Performance Chemical. I would not have discovered that my grandson, he wasn't even 2 years old, was in foster care.
Really?
So I found out just in time. It's the way God seems to work in my life.
And then sometimes we won't move unless something makes us
That's
move.
right. Sometimes we think a bad thing, but sometimes we can't see the blessing that's underneath that that very discomfort. It was,
discomfort.
So, but understand, if you live in faith, you understand that God.
All things work
It's always,
together
that's right, that's right. I love, that's my favorite verse, 8:20. Yes, all things work together. So because I got fired from that job, I went out and I said, well, I used to sell real estate. I'm gonna go sell cars. So I went up Saturn of Columbus. They don't even make Saturns anymore.
Really?
I went up and interviewed for the job. Okay, I wanted to be a car salesman.
Person.
Well, the sales manager told me that he had hired someone else. Okay, I said, okay, well, I think I got to go down here and apply for unemployment. I've never used unemployment in my life, but I think as I was getting ready to walk out the door, the phone rang. It was a sales manager at Saturn of Columbus.
Right.
I said, why are you calling me? Are you going to give me that job? He said, yes, because the lady I hired said she got a better offer. So. So I went back up to Saturn, but because I was working there, I only lasted there 3 months.
Right, but hey, that's good, because that's usually a male-driven environment back then.
Right. Yeah. Well, Saturn was trying to sell their vehicles in a different way, low-key, no hard sales and everything.
Right.
Okay, so, but while I was there, I was calling around, and I happened to find out, I was calling and asking, a phone call I made, I found out that my grandson was in foster care. He wasn't even 2 years old, and I didn't know that.
Right.
My daughter didn't, my oldest daughter, Pamela, didn't know that. So I said, okay. I went to the sales manager. I said, I've got to quit. I said, I've got a family emergency.
Right.
We were going to court. I only had a couple of days to get ready. And I got myself together, and we went to the court. And Pamela, my daughter, she said,
former military.
Oh,
now
yes.
She's a nurse practitioner.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, brilliant.
I stood up and I asked Judge Warner Kennan to give custody of my grandson to his maternal aunt, because I said she will raise him the same way she's raising her son.
Right.
And as we know, the rest is history.
Yes, because he's a military officer, went to the Citadel.
That's right. He's a first lieutenant now.
Yes.
So what transpired, like I said, from things that were unfortunate, they were heartbreaking, became miracles.
Yes.
And so that way, that ended my selling career of automobiles. So, but I'm okay. I called Manpower again.
Right.
I need a job.
Right.
They sent me to the River Center.
Okay.
James Bodewine was there. He was the CEO.
And that was perfect for you, because you're this actress. You were in plays at the Liberty Theater and everything.
I went there as a receptionist.
Really? Oh my goodness.
And I ended my career there as a marketing coordinator.
Okay.
I was there almost 5 years.
Okay.
It seemed like I jumped from one thing to another.
No, but that was on the path to take you where you were intended to be.
It was.
I've had a lot of jobs. People don't know that. I taught in the prison, juvenile tracker, worked at defects, worked at the battered women's shelter. You just have to follow the path that's
absolutely,
been laid for
absolutely.
to get you to the destination.
Absolutely.
Right.
I hear people say, well, I've been on that job 30 years. I can't imagine working a job. But I mean, that's me. I don't recommend other people do things like that. But anyway, I went to the River Center, and James Bodewine and Pat Phillips, who was his assistant, showed me around. I don't know what it was that made them take me on as a temp. Okay. So after I'd been there for a while, they hired me.
Wow.
And then when they kept, James, he was wonderful. He kept promoting me. And like I said, I ended up as marketing coordinator.
Okay.
In fact, I did the very first press release for the Broadway show we brought in.
Well, I'm not surprised by that, because you used to write for the Ledger. You wrote this wonderful story about our father and how he raised us as a young widower.
Yes.
And your writing skills, you've always had those before we even got to all of these books.
Well, thank you.
So that was preparing you.
Thank you. And I have to say a word about your father. I loved your father.
Yes.
He became one of the best friends. And the way I met your father is I walked over and asked him to dance.
He said that.
We were at an Omega, at the Omega New Year's Eve ball, and we still go there. I go there with my Charles now. But we went, I was sitting with my friend Hattie Jones.
Yes,
and
she's on the florist.
Yes, and I said, Hattie, who's that gentleman sitting over there with Brenda and Tommy? And she said, that's Brenda's father. So I walked over there and asked him to dance.
And y'all been you danced.
We danced.
He was a good dancer.
He was. He became one of the best friends that I had in this world.
Yeah.
And
so when you left the River Center, where did we go?
I had already enrolled at Columbus State.
Okay.
And see, at that particular time, to get my master's. That's right. It was in 2005. I celebrated my 60th birthday.
Oh, back to college.
By going back to school to become a family counselor.
Okay.
And I graduated in 2008, and I was hired at the Family Center of Columbus.
Okay.
And
so that was starting that next career.
That was starting the next career.
Okay. So what we're going to do is take our break, go to our sponsor. We'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Even at lower speeds, a crash between a bicyclist and motor vehicle can cause broken bones and traumatic brain injuries. Busy intersections are particularly dangerous for cyclists. Wear a helmet, stop at red lights, use hand signals, yield to pedestrians. Bike safe, bike smart.
Paid for with grant funds from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
The Miley Agency, Gerald Miley and his team can assist you in every aspect of your insurance needs. Call today for your free quote at 706-996-2045 or visit themiley.agency.com. New Horizons Behavioral Health, building better lives in the Chattahoochee Valley, providing services to persons with mental illness, developmental disabilities, and addictive diseases. Located in the Health and Human Services Building, 2100 Comer Avenue, Columbus, or call 706-596-5500. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a 5-star commercial service with satisfied customers in Georgia and South Carolina, built on the principle that every detail matters. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a new season building a family legacy.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm enjoying this amazing conversation with the one and only Laura Roper Lowe. I mean, we could talk and visit all day because you have such an interesting life and path from your very humble beginnings over in Alabama, as you say, North Butler County, which is one of our places we stop at Priester's Pecans.
Oh, Fort Deposit.
Yes. Fort Deposit. That's our main stop when we're going down to Florida and we get the pecans, the hot honey pecans, and we mail those to my mother-in-law.
Oh, yes.
And so that's one of our, you never know. People be knowing things. But anyway, so you have had many careers, and sometimes when we thought it was a stop sign, it was a detour.
Absolutely.
And it was taking us on the journey that was laid for us. And so you went back to, at 60 years old, went to college to get that master's in counseling. You worked for the Family Center.
Yes, 7.5 years.
Okay, and then what were you doing with that? Because I know you were in the schools.
Okay, one of the main reasons I was hired by the Family Center was to run a program called Families and Schools Together, a national program, which Terry Seibert, who was the CEO of the Family Center, and Kibby Taylor, it was an after-school program, which was not your typical after-school program. It was part of a national program, and it involved the whole family. And we ran it twice a year, eight weeks in the spring and 8 weeks in the fall. It involved the whole family. I had to interview the family. We would meet on a Monday night. The families would have an area where they sat together because it was all on the emphasis of the family, and it was all about creating a healthy family
dynamic.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So important.
Yes, it is. And I'm so sorry it's not here now.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful program. I also had a counseling client load. I also did the community group for the battered women's shelter, and I had a meeting twice a month with that group. And I what else did I do? Okay. Oh, I taught the co-parenting classes, which if a couple is getting a divorce, and they have children under the age of 18,
they have to know how to co-parent.
They have to either go to that seminar. I don't know. They might do it online now. I don't know, but I ran that class twice a month in the evening. It was a 4-hour seminar, and the Pastoral Institute did it the other 2 weeks, so we could get everybody in because they could not get that decree until they had gone through that class. They had those parenting classes.
Because just because you leave the other parent, you're not leaving the children, and the adults have to learn how to get alone.
And it was a challenge.
Oh, I'm sure.
I enjoyed doing it. I had a PowerPoint presentation that I did, and when the parents, I had people from all walks of life in that class. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was 4 hours, so and it was in the evening, and it was intense. And I also then later on began what we call parenting skills classes that I did once a week at 12 o'clock, where parents could come in. It was mainly to accommodate defects with parents who had had children removed from their homes. It was for reunification, but I enlarged it to include just any parent who wanted to be a better parent.
Exactly.
I was so thrilled. There were so many men who came to that class.
And that's how we make families healthy.
Yes.
And it helps our children with their performance in school.
That's right.
And so after that career, we have gone to all of these books. So we're working on that 5th book. I tell you. I want to understand how did we get to these, and then we're not going to talk about all the picture books that you do. So I'm just wondering, do we ever sleep at night? We're always up, writing or doing something.
I do get up and go to. I don't worry about waking up and
put your ideas down.
And I can write. I can get up at night, go and get on my computer and do some things, and then go back to sleep. I'll go back to bed or whatever because you
got to put it down right.
That's
now.
right. Yeah.
That's a true
and
so that's the first book.
Yeah, this is the first book. Yeah, Country Girl.
Country Girl.
And it's a collection of stories about my cousin who lives in Covington says that it's a love letter to my parents.
Oh, I like that.
I dedicated each of these books. My second book is dedicated to the memory of my first husband and the Clancy Pinkston.
And he was in the military.
Yes, he was.
And you all lived in Hawaii?
We lived in France. We lived in France for a year, and we lived in Hawaii for 3 years.
Right.
And when we divorced, I stayed here in Columbus after we divorced, and we became friends. And I was even friends with his next 2 wives.
But that's your personality, because that meant your relationship ended with him as your spouse, but not as a person.
And he's the father of my wonderful daughter, Pamela, and
that's
Tony.
Important.
Yes.
And we have to teach that in our community. We have to learn how.
Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Yeah, that second book is dedicated to the teachers of Butler County, Alabama. Greenville, Alabama. I misspoke. Yeah, Greenville, Alabama is that book is dedicated to them because those teachers were absolutely magnificent. They cared about us. It was a segregated school.
Yes.
They cared about us.
They wanted you to learn. They wanted you to be excellent.
They did.
They did.
And we tried to live up to that.
Yes.
So that book was dedicated to the teachers. I have their photos and a little bit of information in that book. And this book is dedicated to the memory of Clancy Pinkston, who was a great father. Oh, what a great father. We lived in Hawaii. That's a picture that, when we lived in Hawaii.
There when we were there, he was there on a work
I loved Hawaii.
We actually have a picture of that.
Really?
We do. And that same spot.
Yes,
we do.
yes.
And so this one was dedicated to
Clancy, yes.
And this one?
That one is dedicated to my beloved community, Columbus, Georgia.
This one, and this is like the old Bradley Library.
Yes, it is. It's that
garden.
It's the garden behind the old Bradley Library that's no longer maintained.
Exactly. And this is where a lot of the high school students in the 70s during my time would go take pictures, senior pictures.
This was
would be
taken in
there.
1980s one Saturday. My daughter Ophelia and her and my neighbor's daughter next door. We had been to lunch and we were exploring, and so we were in that garden, and that's when I took that picture.
And that is the most beautiful garden, but it's no longer maintained.
No longer maintained.
And those just beautiful azaleas and everything. Okay, so tell me about this 5th book before we run out of time.
Okay, as I said, that 5th book is going to be dedicated to the memory of my ex-husband, my last T.M. Lowe.
T.M. Lowe.
I've got to give it to him. I never knew anybody who could sell the way that man could sell.
He was a wonderful real estate professional.
He could sell, and he was proud of being, and it's going to be called the salesman, because he really wouldn't want to be known as a salesperson. He weren't that politically correct. So he was just proud of being a salesman. I learned most of my sales from him. Now, I also learned about selling from my dad, because he was a farmer, and I would go into Greenville on this old 1949 pickup truck, which I learned how to drive on in 1962, to sell the vegetables. And in those days, a black man went to the back of the house and to the back door and knocked on the door, and when I'd look up, here come my dad and a white woman coming around the house, her with her dishpan, and we'd always sell out. So
So you learned sales early on.
Exactly. And then when I went to work for Brown Realty at that time, because T.M. Lowe was the salesperson there, they taught us well. They had classes, and they taught us how to sell.
And ethics was important.
Yes,
it wasn't
absolutely.
always just about the money.
Oh no, it was. And for me, it's never been
about.
It's never been about.
You want to build families, community, and legacy.
That's right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing. Tell people where they can find these books.
They're on Amazon.
Okay, and all books are on Amazon.
They're on Amazon.
All four. Working on that 5th.
I'm working on the 5th one.
Okay, and so when do we think we're going to have that? At least by the end of the year?
Hopefully. Because once I get started, I'll go. But getting started is...
But you're arranging it in your head right now.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yes, I am.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. You have really made an impact in the community.
Thank you for asking me.
A lot of people might not know you, but hopefully after this, they'll know you. And if they have not read one of the books, they can go find it on Amazon. Okay?
That's a lady by the name of Cynthia Robinson and her partner, Bridget Acid. And I didn't want my book to have misspelled words or anything like that.
You wanted it to be professional.
That's right,
quality.
because you don't see your own mistakes a lot.
Right.
And they make sure that my book is ready.
And professional. And represents you.
That's right.
Who you are.
That's right.
All right, I like that. Okay. Well, this has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.